Hi, my name's Tom and welcome to the latest episode of Tom's Barbers Podcast. So we're based in Lincoln and the whole point of this podcast is to introduce local people who are doing fantastic things and have amazing stories. So today we've got Ben Ward. Ben is the perfect entrepreneur. He does a full-time job in the fitness industry. He also has his own YouTube, Lion and Bear Woodworking, and he also does rugby tots for young people in and around Lincoln. So he's our guest today. So why don't we go and chat to him now? So I'd like to welcome Ben today. So anyone who doesn't know you, would you like to tell them a little bit about yourself today?
Sure. My name's Ben Ward. I'm a local lad living in Skellingthorpe. Been in Lincoln all 41 years of my life. I have my main day job is a strategic sector development manager for a company called Enerva that makes fitness equipment for older adults and people with health conditions. On top of that, I own Rugby Tots Lincolnshire franchise, which does rugby-based plays for kids aged 2 to 7 years old. And as well as that, I also have a hobby YouTube channel in woodworking called Lion and Bear Woodworking. That's a bit of a hobby, but it pays for itself as well. So it's pretty cool.
So, wow, you've got got a lot of hats you wear.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Which one? Obviously, the fitness one's your main job.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to start with there, how you got into the fitness sector?
Sure. So I've always worked in kind of business, sales, marketing type of roles. And I worked for a big company in Lincoln called Danwood that sold photocopiers. Not the sexiest industry in the world to get into, but I cut my teeth on sales, account management, that kind of thing. But wanted to get into the fitness industry because that's where my passion was. So I was fortunate enough to get into a role with a company called Life Fitness, that's the biggest fitness equipment brand in the world, and developed my career from there. So I've worked for a couple of big brands, that US brand Life Fitness, a UK brand called Pulse Fitness, and then finally Enerva, which I've just sort of hit my 6 months period with, who focus on older adults and people with health conditions. So arguably the people that need fitness equipment and health centres the most, who are woefully undercatered for. So when you look at the fitness industry, 15% of the UK population attends a gym, and that 15% are the ones generally that already have that focus on health and well-being. And actually what we do is we help focus on the people and the demographics that really need it.
That's crazy to think that 15% of the population goes to the gym. I'd imagine that was higher.
Yeah.
It's amazing to believe that. So moving, obviously you've worked for some big brands. What's the difference between the equipment you do now? What's the difference for equipment that's more for people at an older age and with disability? What kind of is the difference between mainstream equipment and what you provide now?
So there's a few differences really. So general fitness equipment, if you look at, you've got cardio treadmills, things like that, which are pretty standard, but from a strength and resistance point of view, the primary focus is on the user being capable of pushing some sort of weight. It can be a very light weight or it can be a heavy weight, but the fundamental principle is resistance. What we do is we create equipment that's power assisted. So it moves on its own, which means that someone who has never gone into a gym in their life can kind of jump on it and use the equipment in a motivated way where it just moves for them instead of them having to do the work. What that then means is they can progress beyond that and push with the equipment to get a resistance exercise, but they don't need to do that from day one. I always say in the fitness industry, the biggest competitors, the other brands out there for us, the biggest competitors, the sofa and the TV. That's kind of where we play.
So is it more like rehabilitation as well, or just getting people off that couch?
It's both. So we do rehab. I mean, we've just been part of a stroke pilot with a university in Scotland who used our equipment plus a lot of other different items, but ours were the sort of central piece to look at stroke rehab. So the nice guidelines for stroke rehab is 3 hours a day people need in an acute setting, which is, in the hospital immediately after. What we're actually achieving in the UK is about 24 minutes. Wow. So it's really, really undercatered for, and that's down to staff availability, one-to-one time, just short numbers, all the rest of the problems that the NHS faces. So what we did is we've kind of pulled together a solution that helps increase that number by being smarter with the way that they work rehab. So yeah, that's the extreme rehab end of things. But generally what we see a lot of success in is the leisure sector. And my role is more international focused. So I look after our international distribution partners, and they have a lot of success in the leisure sector, which is creating a space where people can go that doesn't feel like a gym, because as you say, 15% of the population goes to the gym. The rest of them don't. There's different reasons behind that. Some of it's they do their own sport. Some of it is that the gym scares the life out of them. They don't want to walk into that gym environment and see, guys in vests with massive muscles slamming heavy weights around. They need a different environment, and that's what we can create.
That's brilliant. What's the future look like in that fitness space then? If you had a magic wand, what would you be doing?
So we're growing. We are growing the knowledge and experience. I think that if I had a magic wand, I'd love to wave it over all of the traditional fitness industry people and say, look, the traditional fitness industry is perfect for a lot of people, but they need to put the focus on the people that need it the most. We get success more in public sector because they understand the mission to get the wider population active, but in the private sector it's very difficult because they're there to cater to the easy market, which is that 15%. So I guess wider knowledge would be the best thing, so that people understand the difference between what we do and what the rest of the sector does.
As a fitness industry, are they happy with that 15% mark, or is no?
So I've worked in the industry for over 10 years, and every year there's conferences, and every year they talk about trying to grow that 15%. It's changed by about 0.4% over those 10 years, up and down. It never changes beyond that because no one's doing anything different, or it's supposed to be different, but it's just disguised version of the same stuff. And that's why it needs true innovation. The problem is the innovation always caters to that 15% again.
So it's surprising, really. What do you think puts people off then? Is it, like you say, sitting meatheads in, like slamming weights about, or is it
there's all sorts
to go through, or is it cost?
There's all sorts of reasons. Cost is a factor for some people, and gym intimidation they call it. That's a factor for others. Confidence, just general confidence, being able to walk in and know what you're doing is really big. That knowledge base is tricky. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. Instagram's helped a lot with a lot of the younger demographic coming in and learning things without having to talk to a person, which can be intimidating, particularly if you're younger. But there's so many different things. Let's be honest, we all take the path of least resistance. So if you're not already doing it, it's really hard to beat that inertia and get up off that sofa and do something. It is hard work.
So Ben, what advice would you give to anyone who was looking to join a gym? Is there anything you would advise them?
It's a big question, that, because it depends on people's goals. Everyone has a different goal when they join a gym or move into doing something for their health and well-being. So really the biggest advice is really understand your goals and understand it doesn't happen overnight. I think the problem with some of these weight loss drugs now is people are doing it a lot because they're used to wanting something quick fix, and fitness and health and nutrition has never been quick fix.
So we're just taking a little bit of a break in between this podcast. What we're doing is we're kind of asking you, do you know anyone that you would like to see feature in this podcast? Or are you somebody who's local to Lincoln and would love to be on this podcast? If you just want to reach out to us, our email will be down below. But we'd love to hear from anyone who's interested in being in this chair. Anyway, please reach out. Look forward to maybe seeing you in the chair. So, obviously, we talked a bit about the fitness industry. I really want to talk about the YouTube channel because that's the thing. So, you do a YouTube channel, it's about woodwork, but I love the way you've named it. Do you want to explain why you named it Lion and Bear?
Yeah, so it's called Lion and Bear Woodworking. Need to come up with some sort of a name for it. And I was at one point, I was doing some commission builds and things as well, so it worked from that. But my kids, I've got twins, and I call them my little lion and my little bear. So it's named after them, basically.
Oh, brilliant. So how long have you been going? You know, what do you tend to do on the channel, and what's coming up in the channel?
How long have I been going? That's a very good question. It's been a couple of years, I think. It might even be coming up to 3. And it's sort of came about from, I've always been into woodworking as a hobby, and I nearly even got into joinery when I left school, but I didn't in the end. But sort of during lockdown, I was looking for something to do, and I had a garage at the bottom of the garden that was just full of crap. So I wanted to turn it into a bit of a workshop and start making some things. So I started doing that and decided that I wanted to kind of try and make my hobby pay for itself. So I started filming it basically and creating videos to put online. And it's kind of taken off from there. It works really well. I get an income from YouTube for it. I get sponsors as well, and yeah, it just pays for my hobby. So it's really fun.
So, has any of your videos gone viral? What one's probably performed the best for you?
It depends what you mean by viral, because viral in woodworking niche is a pretty low bar to set. Whereas if it's general stuff, then millions is the thing. But for woodworking, I've had a couple that have done well. My biggest one at the moment it's on about 367,000 at the moment. So for views on long form content, i.e. not reels and TikToks and things like that, that's pretty good. And the focus on the ones that seem to do well is I aim for beginners. So I'm not a pro. I wouldn't profess to know everything about it. And I think being real and showing what you do and doing it in a way that is relatable and understandable is important. So that one, it's about a type of joinery method that everyone starts out with called pocket hole joinery. It was designed for cabinetry. And that one's taken off. It's done really well for me. That's a couple of videos old, but that's my most popular one at the moment for sure.
How often do you tend to get a video out? Is it obviously you've got multiple hats, so
well, unfortunately that is the one that always takes the back seat, just because there's no commitment to anyone else on it. I do it when I want to do it and when I've got availability. So I was doing one a month. That stopped just after Christmas because I started this new job, and I decided to put a new floor in my workshop at the same time, which I ran out of materials for, and then the inertia kicked in and I never got any new materials for ages. That they turned up recently, and I was working on it this weekend, so the floor is nearly done. When the floor's done, suddenly I'll be back in making content.
Brilliant. I'm sure everyone's been missing you. So obviously with the video and starting all that, we've talked about it. So how did you get into Rugby Tots as a franchise?
Yes.
It really doesn't, it maybe link in with the fitness a little bit, but how and why?
Yeah, so Rugby Tots is one that I used to take my kids to. And the person who owned the franchise, the Lincolnshire franchise, had the business up for sale because she had to move to London. And I, on a bit of a whim, bought it, much to my wife's dismay, actually. I bought it. And it was partly because at the time I wasn't that happy in my old job. And I wanted something different and thought this could be a good way to supplement that and potentially YouTube together could be an opportunity for me. I've been running Rugby Tots for a couple of years now. But I think because I've stepped into this new job in the fitness industry, I'm actually much happier with what I'm doing from that side of things, and I enjoy the YouTube stuff. So actually, Rugby Tots is up for sale at the moment. I'm still running it. I'm quite happy running it, but I've decided that if something's going to go, that would be the one thing for me that would go. But I do enjoy. I coach the kids regularly. Every weekend when we're in season. We're off at the moment for the summer, but it is good fun, and the kids love it, and it's really fulfilling. So I do enjoy it, but yeah, time has to give somewhere, so that's why it is currently up for sale.
So, what kind of person would you recommend purchasing it? If someone was interested in purchasing it, how would it work?
So I think there's probably a couple of people that would be ideal for it. Either someone that currently needs a business or a job but wants flexibility around home and family life, because you set the sessions and do everything, and we do like nurseries and schools and things. It fits really well for someone that might have kids already, that wants to fit around that, or someone that's just got time and availability to really grow it, because I've grown some elements of it, but there is huge potential. We've got territories I haven't even covered yet. We've got potential customers that I haven't been reaching out to just because of my time. And someone who maybe wants to do something for themselves, where they can be a self-starter, they don't need to work for anyone else. It's a really good opportunity for them as well.
So anyone who's watching this who's interested, all Ben's details will be listed below.
Sure,
so
yeah.
Reach out to him and have a chat. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. So you said obviously you named the YouTube channel after you boys. How do you find time to work full time and travel the world kind of thing? YouTube, Rugby Tots, 2 boys and a wife. How do you manage it all?
It's, yeah, do you know what? It's one of those things. Well, that's why I haven't done any YouTube videos for a while, and my floor got delayed. Is you prioritize different things, don't you? And my hobby is the lowest priority. I work from home, which helps with the family time, because I see my kids throughout the day. I see them when they come home from school. I do the school run on a Monday and a Friday. So that helps with that family balance. I'm not away all day and then coming home late and potentially, putting them to bed and that's it. I do see them and spend time with the wife and kids more on that. She works a Monday and a Friday away from home, and then the rest of the week she works from home as well. So we have a good dynamic from that point of view. The key thing for balancing time really is about not wasting those little moments. And keeping on top of everything. You have to be diligent. If you're not diligent, it'll all swamp you and take over. So for me, it's just not wasting time. If I sit after work in an evening is when I do, my Rugby Tots admin and my woodworking stuff. Instead of sitting there watching, 4 episodes of something on Netflix or doom scrolling on Instagram and Facebook, you just make that time work for you. It's amazing how much time people waste in a day.
Have you got any tips for people to be more productive, better with their time management?
It kind of depends on how you work. Because my wife at the minute, she's time blocking stuff. I've tried that. For me, it doesn't work because of the way that my mind works and that things come to the fore. I like to just gather everything. I think if you're There's a productivity guy called David Allen who we've spoken about before, and he says the mind's for having ideas, not holding them. And I famously at home have a really bad memory, so I use an app and basically store all of the work that I need to do in this app, so that I know that everything I ever think of that needs doing is written down somewhere in the same place. So if I need to check anything, it's all in that one place. And then you prioritize it, and then essentially it's about the context. So sitting here waiting to sit in the chair, I know there's certain things I can do on my mobile, but there's no use having the top of your list being something you can only do at your laptop or at home. So I try and create context to everything that I'm doing so that I can be creative with everything that I can do in that certain context.
That makes sense. So what is, if you don't mind asking, what app do you use?
I use an app called Todoist, Todoist. And I find that's really good because it's got lots of flexibility. You can even set it up. So say I want to buy, I don't know, some new trousers from Next. You can set it up so that when you are near Next or you arrive at Next, it'll remind you that you wanted to pick up trousers, or you need to pick up some toothpaste from Sainsbury's. So you set the context and the location at Sainsbury's, and then when you turn up, it tells you. So there's a lot of automation in that. I set a lot of reminders, alarms, regular occurrences. Therefore, I don't have to remember everything.
Oh, that's really good actually. I might have to look into that.
It is good. I've used it for years now.
Is there a cost to that, or is it a free one?
£30 a year, something like that. £39 a year. So it's not expensive.
Drop in the ocean if it saves you a lot of time, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. And there's some that are like, £7 a month or whatever. And I think some of them are too feature rich. So you can get carried away with being really overly organised with things, and you end up spending your time managing that system rather than doing the work.
Yeah, I probably have that problem with ClickUp at the moment.
Yeah.
I think too much. So, yeah. Well, how's the hair look? How's that look?
Looking good. Yeah, as always. Good stuff.
Well, absolute pleasure today to talk to you. What we'll do is we'll put all your information, how to follow your channel, a bit about Rugby Talks, obviously, if people want to sign their kids up. I know you're coming away from it. But
we're still running as normal, and I'll continue that until it sells. It could be 2 years before it sells, so that will carry on.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
So, one episode with Ben. It's so interesting to talk to him, understand what he does. Really great stat. 15% of people go to the gym. I thought that was massively high. What do you think? How many people would you think uses the gym? And if you don't use the gym, why don't you use the gym? Put down in the comments. It'd be fantastic to know, and give Ben some feedback. Also, what's really good, obviously, his hobby in woodwork and how he's turned that into a YouTube channel. Have you got a hobby that you could turn into a YouTube channel? It was fantastic watching Ben. Hopefully we'll see you in the next episode of the podcast. And thank you very much for watching. Please like.